Get her, she's a virgin.
The sound of running feet filled the village, desperate, frantic, the kind of running that means life or death. Young women scattered like frightened birds, their wrappers flying behind them as they fled into the bush, into neighbors' compounds, anywhere to hide. The king was dead, and tradition demanded blood. Far from the chaos, a blind girl named Adaeze walked home from the farm beside her mother, her walking stick tapping the red earth. At 27, she had learned to see the world through sounds and touch, the warmth of sun on her face, the rhythm of her mother's breathing, the songs of birds that filled the afternoon air. "Something feels different today, Mama," she said softly. Before her mother could answer, heavy footsteps surrounded them. The chief priest's voice cut through the air like a blade. "This one, she is a virgin." "No, please," her mother screamed as palace guards tore Adaeze from her arms. The walking stick fell to the ground. Adaeze reached blindly for her mother, their fingers slipping apart as strong hands dragged her away. "Mama, Mama! My child, she has done nothing wrong. She's blind, please!" But they took her anyway. At the palace, the widow stood before the council of elders, her voice breaking. "My daughter is innocent. She has harmed no one. Why are you doing this?" The elders looked away. Not one would meet her eyes. The throne sat empty behind them, draped in white cloth. Only then did the terrible truth begin to dawn on her. The chief priest finally spoke, his voice cold and formal. "Your daughter will accompany our king to the land of the ancestors. In 3 days, the ritual will be complete. You will not see her again." The word struck like a physical blow. The widow's body went cold. For a long moment, she simply stood there, swaying, unable to breathe. Then she turned and walked out, her legs moving though she couldn't feel them. At home, she collapsed and wept like a child. In a dark palace cell, Adaeze sat on the cold floor, clutching her walking stick, the only familiar thing in this strange, terrifying place. She couldn't see the walls around her, but she felt them closing in. "God, please don't let this happen, please!" Neither mother nor daughter slept that night. Before dawn, the widow was at the palace gates, crying, begging, "Give me back my child! She's all I have!" The chief priest ordered the guards to remove her. They carried her away as she screamed. She came back every hour, every day. They turned her away each time. On the night before the 3rd day, the widow stumbled out of her small house and fell to her knees in the dirt. She lifted her face to the dark sky. "God of heaven, gods of this land, do not let my daughter die for a man already dead." Her voice cracked with anguish. "I am only a poor widow, but do not despise my tears. Please, I am begging you." She wept until she had no tears left. The 3rd day arrived. The entire village gathered in the sacred grove. They brought Adaeze out, tied her to the wooden stake. She stood there, blind eyes turned toward the sky, her body trembling, but her lips moving in silent prayer. Her mother was not in the crowd. She could not bear to watch her daughter burn. The chief priest began the incantations, the ancient words that had always summoned the sacred fire. He chanted once, twice, 3 times. Nothing happened. A murmur rippled through the crowd. This had never happened before. The fire always came. The chief priest's face darkened. "Bring petrol," he commanded. They poured it over Adaeze. The fumes made her cough, made her eyes water. The priest struck the match himself, something he had never done in all his years of service. The match went out. He tried again and again. Each time the flame died before it could touch her. The crowd began to whisper. Fear crept into their voices. Then the prince stepped forward, his voice ringing clear across the grove. "Release her!" The chief priest turned sharply. "My prince! I said release her!" The young prince's hands shook, but his voice was firm. "Last night, I dreamed of this moment. The ancestors came to me and said when the fire refuses to burn, it is a sign. The gods themselves reject this tradition." He turned to face his people. "As heir to the throne, I declare this girl free, and I abolish this cruel practice from our land forever." Silence. Then, slowly, fearfully, the guards cut Adaze's bonds. They brought her home to her mother. The widow ran out of the house, her arms outstretched. "Adaeze, my daughter!" They fell into each other's arms, both weeping, this time tears of joy, tears of deliverance, tears that washed away 3 days of unspeakable terror. "Mama, Adaeze," sobbed. "Mama, I'm home." "Yes, my child, you're home, you're home." And in that small compound, in the arms of her mother, the blind girl who had been chosen for death learned to breathe again.